This is Real News Media TV, coverage you can trust. Please like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Select all for daily news updates. 3 killed in 2 days in St. James. The bloodletting continues unabated in St. James, with 3 murders being recorded in 2 days. On Wednesday afternoon, a man was brutally gunned down at his home in Farmhill in the parish. He has been identified as 26-year-old Siobhan Green, otherwise called Shavidan. The Freeport police report that at about 3 p.m., Green was at home when gunmen barged in and began shooting, hitting him several times. He was taken to the hospital, where he was pronounced dead. No motive has yet been established for the killing, but investigators told the news that they are pursuing leads into the matter. Green's death comes just hours after the shooting deaths of 2 other men in the parish. 23-year-old Mohan Rick Morris was shot and killed while standing inside a business establishment in the community of Flanker about 9 a.m. on Tuesday. Reports from the police are that Morris, who is from a Lime Tree Lane address in the community, was inside the establishment on Mackenzie Drive when he was approached by an armed man. The gunman shot him in the upper body before escaping in a waiting motor car. A short while later on Thursday, the police were again alerted to another crime scene, this time in the community of Iron Shore. 24-year-old Nakeem Erskine, from retirement in the parish, was driving his motor vehicle along Trenton Avenue in the community when 2 armed men shot at him. Erskine lost control of the vehicle, which then crashed into a perimeter wall. The police were summoned and he was taken to the hospital, where he was pronounced dead. Chicken prices going up. Jamaica broilers will be increasing the price of chicken meat by up to 10% this month. Dave Fearman, vice president of Jamaica Broilers, said the price adjustment became necessary as the cost for production and the raw materials has increased.
Since last year, January to December, our energy cost has gone up somewhere in the region of about 61%. So all of these combined roll up into higher costs for us. Our margins are down because, like any good corporate citizen, we have been trying to manage what we do to pass on to consumers, because we live here and we understand the dynamics that are playing out in the society. So we have been absorbing quite a bit of those increases. Corn has moved somewhere in the region of about 106% from its lowest point in 2020 to close in 2021. Soya bean, which is another key ingredient, has gone up about 61% from a low in 2020 to 2021. So if you were to look at our 2020 price movements, it's averaged about 7% in 2020. So really keeping track with where inflation was at the time. In 2021, our point to point from January back to December is about 28%.
Post-mortem finds a woman killed in controversial motorcycle crash died from blunt force trauma. A post-mortem has revealed that 24-year-old Brianna Kerr, who was involved in a motorcycle crash which occurred under controversial circumstances on Mountain View Avenue in St. Andrew in December, died from blunt force trauma. Ms. Kerr was a pillion on the motorcycle, which was being driven by 40-year-old Derek Coley. Mr. Coley also died in the mishap. The Jamaica Constabulary Force had initially issued a media release stating that Ms. Kerr and Mr. Coley were shot and killed. However, the report was challenged by relatives and an eyewitness who saw the collision and blamed the police for their deaths. The Inspectorate and the Professional Standards Oversight Bureau was called in to assist with the probe following the conflicting reports. Speaking with the news, Ms. Kerr's father, Wayne Kerr, said his daughter died from blunt force trauma to the head and the torso. Contrary to the police's initial report, she and Mr. Coley were shot and killed by unknown assailants at 10:40. But Senior Superintendent Stephanie Lindsay, head of the Jamaica Constabulary Force's Corporate Communications Unit, said the initial news release on the incident involving the 2 deceased was issued in error. Superintendent Lindsay said footage from CCTV surveillance cameras and the reports provided to the police were inconsistent. They did not find any footage that was consistent with the account given as to how the accident transpired, she said, adding that the situation was made more difficult because we don't have the motorcycle as part of the evidence, and the witness statement that the police have on record is not accounting for what is being said otherwise. Man fatally shot in downtown Kingston. An unidentified man was shot and killed yesterday in the vicinity of the Warder Theatre in downtown Kingston. Reports reaching the news are that he was shot multiple times in his upper body. This is the second murder to take place just hours apart in the Kingston Central Police Division after a mechanic was shot and killed on Chancery Lane yesterday morning. Rear Admiral Antoinette Gorman sworn in as the JDF Chief of Defense Staff. Rear Admiral Antoinette Gorman has been sworn in as Jamaica's first female Chief of Defense Staff. She is also the first female officer of the Jamaica Defense Force to attain the rank of Rear Admiral. At a swearing-in ceremony at the King's House on Tuesday, Rear Admiral Gorman promised accountability from the JDF under her leadership.
Throughout my tenure, I will not compromise on the integrity of the force, nor flout the long-standing, hard-won trust of the Jamaican people. Each service member will be held accountable for his or her actions, and they can be assured of my commitment to the good administration and welfare of the force.
Prime Minister Andrew Holness, who was in attendance, said Rear Admiral Gorman's experience in the Coast Guard will be an asset as Jamaica works to secure its borders and as the JDF continues to support the police in crime fighting.
She will therefore bring a unique perspective to our discussions and our efforts to strengthen our borders and prevent illicit inflows, to protect the lives and livelihoods of our coastal communities, and to ensure that Jamaica can derive sustainable benefit from our maritime resources. As we continue our fight against crime and violence, the JDF will continue to play a critical role in support of the JCF. As a small country, we must continue to employ all available resources to address the number one threat to our collective future.
Needs a pilot to be implemented later this year. The pilot of the National Identification System will be implemented during the second half of this year. Floyd Green, Minister without a portfolio in the Office of the Prime Minister, who has been given responsibility for the NIDS, said residents of Kingston and St. Andrew will be the first to register. He touted the importance of the pilot, arguing that it would give the government the ability to see if there are any challenges or any nuisances that you need to fix.
I think it's important to take the approach to start with a pilot so that you can see if there are any challenges, any nuances that you need to fix. As you know, with any system, once you start and put it on the ground, especially in terms of registration, you will pick up if there are any weaknesses and ensure that you fix them. So we definitely want to get the National Identification System going this year. We believe it's a very ideal year. It's the 60th year of Jamaica, and we think in this 60th year, part of our focus has to be on digitization and transforming Jamaica into truly a digital economy. One of the things I plan to do in the next month or so is to put in place what I call an implementation task force. It's something that the overarching documents of the National Identification System call for, and it's something that I see a lot of value in, where we will have multiple stakeholders at the table to help guide implementation.
COVID alarm as the more positive pregnant women being hospitalized. The Health Ministry is reporting that more COVID-positive pregnant women are now being hospitalized with respiratory problems than at any other point since the pandemic began in 2020. According to data from the ministry, as at January 17, some 20 pregnant women were hospitalized, up from around 5 at the start of the year. Chief Medical Officer Dr. Jacqueline Besesa Mackenzie said these persons are in late-stage pregnancy, with a few admitted even after delivery. This is not good because what we have seen is that persons at this particular time in pregnancy, they tend to develop severe COVID, said Besesa Mackenzie. In the meantime, Mackenzie said there is also a new worrying increase in the hospitalization of children, now posing a challenge on pediatric wards in hospitals across Jamaica. Up to January 17, more than 35 children were hospitalized with the virus, up from 20 on January 3. Besesa Mackenzie said the issue of vaccine hesitancy is still a challenge for the health officials. Between 95 and 98% of persons that are being admitted for COVID are unvaccinated, she said. The ministry says of the 2,024 COVID-related deaths, 98.5% or 1,993 are among unvaccinated Jamaicans. 14 or 0.7% were partially vaccinated, and 17 or 0.8% were fully vaccinated. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Select all for daily news updates.